If it uses blockchain technology, it's blowing up right now. Inventors love it, investors love it. Hell, your mom's about to leave your dad for blockchain technology. At this point, it's clear that blockchain is the future and you can either get on board or get left behind. But what is it? Is it something from Minecraft? I thought that game died when Microsoft bought it. Okay, so think of blockchain as the next big innovation on top of the internet. Oh yeah, blockchain is internet big. I'd trade my PhD in mini management for a bachelor's in blockchain any day. So all the fuss is coming from the people with enough vision to realize what this new technology is going to bring with it. But a lot of the hype, on the other hand, is coming from people with more money than sense, or at least those who were easily swayed. That's not to say that a blockchain endeavor is a bad investment, per se, but before we jump down that rabbit hole, let me just say that investment advice isn't really my thing. There are plenty of channels with dudes in suits to tell you what to blindly throw your money at. I'm more interested in studying how it works and what it is. If you've come to a channel like mine looking for investment advice, then I can tell you this: hang on to your money. One day, maybe, I'll cover more about investments and their effects on cryptocurrencies today. Alright, so if a blockchain isn't something from PewDiePie's channel, what is it? As a general concept, a blockchain is a way to publicly share some data in a way that's immutable, uncensorable, and impossible to spoof. Sound revolutionary yet? Unfortunately, an aesthetic movement in the early 2000s took the name Internet 2.0 from us, but that's what this represents. A new era of the internet. One that'll change the way we think about it, the way we use it, and the way it affects all our lives. Now that I've got your attention, allow me to get into the hard stuff. If you don't know why learning this is worth your time, then you probably haven't seen my first video. I linked to it here, but I was too busy working out the bugs in my death ray to figure out how iCards work. Plus, I don't just upload this stuff to YouTube. YouTube's been around since 2005, and I'm interested in cutting-edge tech. What word is that? So the blockchain works like this. Hundreds, thousands, millions of people across the world dedicate a computing device to running one of these things. You do this to make sure that no one else is messing with it, and everyone else does it to make sure you're not messing with it. That's the basic idea, right? Everyone is watching this thing all the time using computers to make sure nothing fishy happens. Cool. But how do you add something to the blockchain? And keep in mind, from here on out, we're really talking about Bitcoin more than just your basic blockchain. So to add something to the blockchain, you broadcast your addition to all the other people watching the blockchain as an addition. Now there are two kinds of people that are watching the blockchain, known as nodes and miners. The people that compile all the additions into blocks and publish those blocks to the blockchain are called miners. People who run nodes have a copy of the blockchain on their computers and will distribute that copy to anyone who requests it, as well as broadcasting new additions in blocks to miners and other nodes. I plan to cover the details of mining in my next video. For now, let's just say that adding blocks to the blockchain requires that the miners do some work, and only once that work is done are they allowed to add a block full of additions to the blockchain. This is called the proof of work system, and while it does draw some criticism, it's considered to be the tried and true model for cryptocurrencies and basic blockchains. Once a block has been added to the blockchain, that's it. The contents of that block are forever part of the blockchain and cannot be removed. As new blocks are added on top of our block and all the additions in it is considered more and more secure. This is because for every block that's added to the chain, that much more work has been done on top of our block. If someone wanted to change the contents of our block, they'd have to do all of the work necessary to add our block to the chain, and all of the work necessary to add the other blocks mined after it to the chain too, since nodes and miners are programmed to follow the longest chain. This system has been proven to be as secure as the US uranium stores. I would know. And the best part is, the more miners there are trying to add blocks to the blockchain, the more work it takes to do so. This is because the miners are in competition with one another for the right to publish blocks. This competition ensures that no one person is controlling what does or doesn't get added to the blockchain, which is why it's considered to be uncensorable. The more miners there are, the more difficult it has to be to publish blocks. Otherwise, the blocks would start to get published faster and faster at irregular intervals, making it easier for someone with villainous intent to publish fake transactions in a longer chain. This is what makes blockchain such a big deal. There is no referee, but everyone is forced to play by the rules. Not only can everyone watch and ensure that the rules are being followed, but with Bitcoin specifically, successfully breaking the rules would result in a loss of confidence in the system. The value of Bitcoin would plummet and all your ill-gotten gains would be completely worthless. I'm well aware that some people just want to watch the world burn. I'm one of them. I invented blister packaging. But as Bitcoin becomes more popular and as more people run nodes and become miners, the costs of destroying Bitcoin become greater and greater. At this point, a powerful country bent on destroying Bitcoin could probably get the job done, but the costs of themselves would be enormous, and the only people it would hurt are the few individuals that have been daring enough to risk money on it so far. At the time of publishing, very few stand to gain from the failure of Bitcoin. So let's take a look at what we've talked about so far. Bitcoin is a new way to internet that is immutable and unspoofable. It uses the untiring eyes of computers to ensure this, and it guarantees that anyone who wants to add to the blockchain has to work and outcompete others to be able to do so. This makes the system incredibly secure and disincentivizes anyone from trying to overcome that security. The last thing I want to talk about is transaction fees. Why does this system need transaction fees? Well, the biggest reason is to impede attackers. If you can't publish fake blocks, you can try to flood the system with a bunch of spam transactions. Now, if there's no referee to determine which transaction is spam and which transaction is legitimate, you might have a problem, unless you charge a small fee for transactions. If you had to pay 1 cent every time you swiped your credit card, you probably wouldn't like it. But it probably wouldn't affect you much. By doing much of the same, the Bitcoin network makes it cost you money to try and publish a bunch of spam transactions. If you want to flood the system with transactions and make sure that no one else can add anything to the blockchain, you'll have to pony up to do it. As before, a government could probably do it, but at what cost? As I mentioned before, my next video will be about mining. If you or someone you know has ever wondered how someone can mine for Bitcoin, make sure you catch the next episode. And of course, the best way to catch the next episode is to subscribe. It also helps if you leave a like, and if you have any questions, leave a comment below. Alright, if you'll excuse me, my Zeppelin needs cleaning.